recently at the last press reception, which I didn't think it was too grand, as we had in Washington, that is.
Yeah.
The questions that were asked, one of them said that were on about the crowds at the stadiums just recently, and they wanted to know how you felt about it, because they were, say, 20,000, 25,000, where before you used to get more. But
yeah, no, I don't mind about that. You know, the thing is, the people keep saying to us, look, your record sales have gone down and your concert appearances have gone down. But the thing is that compared with anyone else, they haven't. And the only people who set the records beforehand were us, you know, like for the concerts. But apparently, at the moment, we still play to more people than any other group does.
That's correct.
And so, I mean, you know, that doesn't worry us, because everyone else goes down in proportion. I mean, the only time if we were going to be worried by the whole sort of rat race, which we're not, you know, it doesn't really worry us. But if it did worry us, it might be when, for instance, another group started selling more records or more seats than us. Then we might get a bit worried, you know. But this doesn't worry us at all. We're still doing fine, you know.
But don't you think that the time when it comes, when there will be no more open-air performances or indoor performances for you, that your records will still be going on selling even 10 years from now?
Well, I don't know. You see, this is the thing, actually, that we are more interested, really, in making music than we are probably in actually performing it, because we're not very good performers, you know. We haven't ever been able really to do what we've been able to do on records, on the stage. And also when we play these big concerts, you know, it gets a bit more impossible each time to sort of get over to the people what you're trying to get over. So we're tending a bit more to get this over on records, you know, in the lyrics of words and the lyrics of songs, I mean. You know, so that I think that's getting a bit more important, and I hope it does go on for about, you know, as long as you like.
Well, actually, then, with your recordings and also coming about your open performances, you're improving yourself each time.
Well, I hope so, you know. I think probably we are, you know. But, yeah, we're trying to anyway.
Now, speaking of back home in England, Paul, where is it you're exactly living now? Is it in the centre of London or out on one of the counties? Like?
No, it's just about 2 minutes outside London, in St John's Wood, you know.
St John's Wood. Oh.
Yeah.
You're not living in Weybridge or Esher with the other lads?
No, well, you see, the kind of house I wanted is that, like, only exists sort of, well, mainly exists a couple of minutes out of London. And also I like cities, you know, so I got the house there. I mean, I did think, obviously, you know, well, I ought to sort of go out to Weybridge and things, but I mean, I've talked to the others about it since, and we've all decided that it would be silly for me to, like, buy a house in Weybridge that I wasn't very keen on. You know, just to sort of go along with the whole thing. And we can still get to see each other dead easily. You know, I mean, we only live sort of at the most, say, half an hour away from each other. So we're still in pretty good contact, you know, and if I want to go out for a swim, I go out to their place.
Oh, marvellous. Well, now, when you get back home from this tour, will you be taking a holiday, say, Spain or someone like this?
I don't know, actually. I may do. We've got a few weeks off, you know. But I know, see, for instance, we want to do a record for Christmas. You know, we want to have a record for Christmas, so we've got to start thinking about that now, you know. We've got to start thinking about the next film that we do. So there's a lot of things, you know, it's like these people who start opening Christmas clubs in June. You know, we've got to start thinking about things like that now. So it'll be a holiday, but I think it'll be a holiday in which we'll be trying to think of things for when it isn't a holiday, you know. I mean, we'll take it easy.
I heard you took a trip to Spain before once, didn't you, on holiday?
I didn't go to Spain, no. I tried once to make Spain, and John and I were going to hitchhike. But we hitchhiked down from Liverpool. We didn't hitchhike, no, we got the train down from Liverpool because we thought, well, we won't hitchhike the first bit. And we got the boat over to Paris, and we got the train into Paris because we thought, well, it'd be too hard to get a hitch here. And we just stayed in Paris all week. Eventually, I mean, all the time trying to get out of Paris and make Spain, you know. We never made it. We just flew home at the end. Real lazy hitchhiking holiday.
By the way, I'd like to ask you just one more, because what do you think about the other night at Cleveland when we had the great rush of the young people there for the show?
Well,
how did you feel about that?
Well, the thing is, you see, I was talking to someone about our shows, and I was saying that the great thing nowadays about our shows is it's a completely different thing from what it used to be. It used to be that we performed and that everyone sort of sat back and listened to us in the very early days. and occasionally sort of joined in. But as it's gone bigger and bigger, and the whole thing has sort of improved a lot, it's gone along the track of the audience participating an awful lot, you know. So I mean now, for instance, when the kids are all shouting and things, it's part of our show. You know, the audience is half of our show, you know, easily, and we're sort of less of our show than we used to be. But I mean, we don't mind that. It's great to have somebody else working on a show with you, you know. It's like all those people are in our act, you know. So that's fine. I mean, we love that. And so, for instance, when they do break through and things, as long as nobody gets hurt, and as long as it's not too dangerous, because I mean, you know, we've been through more dangerous things. We used to have fights when we started off, I mean, in the audience. You know, we're a lot more dangerous than that. Like, there'd be 100 fellas fighting another 100 from the next district. And, you know, there'd be bottles and chairs going all over the place, and that was more dangerous than it gets now. So, I mean, it doesn't particularly worry us. As long as nobody else gets hurt, we love it, love every minute of it.
But actually, I think the other night at Cleveland, when all these youngsters sieged forward, it wasn't the act of violence or anything like this. It was more love for you than anything else.
Well, you know, I don't think any of them are violent. You know, they just come along. There's maybe one or two in a crowd of about 1,000 that's violent. But generally, they just want to... I mean, for instance, the other night, they all just came to the front of the stage. Nobody really tried to make much effort to get up on the stage, you know. Admittedly, there were a sort of big gang of coppers saying, get off. But I think they just wanted to sort of see us, listen to us and that, you know. It wasn't too bad at all. I enjoyed it.
Well, actually, what we're trying to say now is that the Beatlemania is still here in America, and you're still loved, even though the papers might put words differently. So you've proved the point, haven't you?
Well, I think the thing is that, like, every newspaper anywhere, when they get articles about Beatlemania and, you know, so many seats sold out and things, they can't go on forever writing that because it's no longer news after a bit. They've got to start knocking because it's the only way they can get any news out of it, you know, and talk about us, or else they don't talk about us. So they try and find sort of the knocking things in what we say, like John's remark on Christianity, you know, and they try and knock it because it makes a big news story for them. But, you know, it doesn't worry us that, because, I mean, we just go along, we do the same things we always did in a way, and we don't worry about them.